to Wide the Truck.
Just dropped the stick on myself.
Easy, Tiger.
I gotta take it easy in the booth. Whew, I'm excited. You know why? It's Mandalorian Day. Fridays have all new meaning now that the Mandalorian is on Disney Plus with my 5-year-old. My 3-year-old's not as into it, but my 5-year-old, he just loves it.
And this is the day where it comes out?
We watch the Mandalorian together. Yeah, every day. So it's not like Netflix where they
Friday?
put everything else like at the same time.
Yeah, I hear that. That is kind of a cool way to do it. I mean, I liked it when they would just dump the 13 episodes all at once.
Yeah.
But it really led to some epidemics and binge purging.
Yeah, then you would binge watch it all, and then you'd be like, there's nothing for me to watch now. Pull up the LinkedIn comments here, too. Get everybody on board with us. Hey, guys, get your comments. What's up, Rob Armstrong? What's up, Vincent Cordray? Turn this down so I can come over the mics. All right, guys. So
by the way, those Baby Yodas that you could not find,
the Baby Yodas,
they are out. John Favreau, the showrunner, said that they purposefully didn't let those toys out early so they wouldn't let out details of the Yoda.
Look, he's making my child cry. This is my kid. This morning, he wants a Baby Yoda for Christmas, and look at this. Look.
Wait, Ron, what do you hope there is?
The Baby Yoda that goes, that has his soup and he's drinking it. And when he's doing like this, he's drinking it. And when he's doing like this, he is not drinking it.
Yeah, but they don't have it now. You can't get the Baby Yoda. If you go on,
yes, you can.
If you go on,
they are open for business right now.
No.
Check it out. Disney.
No, not till April.
Not
till April. I looked it up.
So.
Not till April. If you go on on eBay,
you can get some fakes.
You can buy a fake one with lead in it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you do have wary. You must be.
You know who's not fake? DDC FPO.
Oh, right. Yeah,
DDC FPO. You see that right there. DDC FPO is the #1 preferred back office partner for transportation. Want the most robust AI data processing solution available in the market today?
Yeah.
Visit ddcfpo.com or get this. Email them. info@ddcfpo.com now.
Hit the headlines.
Ooh, hold on one second. Here's a story that opens in Evergreen. We're going to get to it in our headlines, but Paint at the Pine, Chad. Aren't you glad you got your tree early? Christmas tree shortages have prices leaving lumps of coal in kids' stockings. They couldn't even afford the Baby Yoda if they wanted one. You can't afford gifts. If you spend all your money on the Christmas tree, just like if you spend too much money on a wallet, you don't have any money to put in it.
Wow.
True. All right, man. Christmas tree shortage is driving prices higher. Oregon is the country's #1 producer of Christmas trees and supplies, but this year it's tight, which is driving up wholesale and retail costs. The price for noble firs have doubled compared to 5 years ago, and over the past 2 years, prices have risen 15% annually.
That's because they're noble.
Are you getting a 15% raise every year?
No.
So eventually you're not going to be able to afford a Christmas tree. Oregon currently has nearly 400 licensed Christmas tree growers, down from around 900 growers just 15 years ago. Around the early 2000s, there was a glut of trees on the market, just too many. It was like overcapacity, right?
Yeah, glut.
Prices plummeted, and many farmers, mostly small independent growers, they couldn't take it anymore, couldn't take the losses. It's a tough barrier, and now it's a tough barrier for a grower to get into. So, and it takes 8 years. 8 years to seed to sell.
Much like a ginseng root.
Yeah.
It could take 5 to 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you know that?
You ever got hunting ginseng?
No, but I'd like to. It sounds fun. Although you have to go a little more backcountry now because they're becoming more rare.
Oh.
The limited supply of trees, Christmas trees, that is, and abundant capacity of trucking capacity have not exerted downward pressure on trucking rates. The cost to ship perishables to Texas goes up by $1,000 for Christmas tree season out of the Oregon area, where when prices are highest starting from the weekend before Thanksgiving to the weekend after. Many large growers are also shipping by rail. Oregon still holds the top spot for Christmas trees, though, selling about 4.6 million with an M trees a year, valued around $100 million to keep the trees cool and moist. Guess what they do? Shippers favor a combination of reefer and ice.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Because they're literally dying after they're cut.
Speaking of ice dying.
Yeah. Debt and losses bring down the indigenous-owned Canadian carrier featured on Ice Road Trucker.
Yeah, that's where the ice I was talking about.
That's the ice, baby. Lee Cho Land Tran Transport is shutting down, along with several affiliates, They faced a staggering load of debt and losses in the millions. Their appearance on the TV series Ice Road Truckers Dooner, it showed how treacherous the freight lanes they ran in Canada were, but I guess it wasn't enough to save the day for all of the things that they had to deal with. Their two affiliates incurred in Canadian dollars, $18 million in losses in the fiscal year ending in March, according to a November 27th court filing in Alberta seeking creditor protection. By the end of October, their debt reached $60 million in Canadian dollars, with assets worth about $40 million. A hearing today on December 6th will decide whether Litcho Investment, which is owned by the Indigenous government of the Litcho First Nation, can continue to get creditor protection and move forward with selling off their assets.
Most of the company's 40 employees are likely to lose their jobs, though. The carrier also have 40 owner-operators. The trucking companies operated and headquartered in Alberta handled a mix of truckload, less than truckload, bulk, and specialized transport, notably using winter and ice roads to access the most remote areas of Western Canada, the Yukon, and Northwest Territories. The final setback occurred when the loss of their largest customer, a diamond mine in the Northwest Territories, which accounted for 27% of their revenue, all their eggs in one basket. Shiny little eggs. Glimmering.
Or a lot of them, yes.
Yeah. Bragging A wasn't buying enough engagement rings. All right. 2 former Celadon executives indicted on fraud scheme. By the way, were you guys listening in? Where are you tuning in from? Always excited to hear that. Hey, Vincent Chuhari?
Anybody from the Yukon?
2 former Celadon executives indicted on a fraud scheme. 2 former executives at Celadon Inc. have been charged with running a complex securities and accounting fraud scheme that cost the truckload and logistics company shareholders more than $60 million, Chad. Federal prosecutor said that on December 5th. Former COO William Eric Meek, 39, younger than I am. Former Chief Financial Officer Bobby Lee Peevler, 40, same age as me. Both of Indianapolis were charged with 9 counts each. I've managed to stay out of trouble longer than they have. The financial scandalous rocked Celadon ever since May 2017 when the fraud was discovered. Hey, James is tuned in from Miami. What's up, James? In April of 2017, Danny Williams, 36, of New Palestine, Indiana, and former president of Quality Companies, a subsidiary of Celadon, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit security frauds, make false statements to a public company's account, and falsify books, records, and accounts of a public company.
Court documents show that from 2013 to 2016, Celadon expanded its Quality Truck, no irony there, Quality Truck Leasing Company, which Williams ran from roughly 750 to more than 11,000 trucks. In 2016, the value of many of Celadon's trucks, including those owned through Quality, had dropped significantly in value, in part due to an economic downturn in the used truck market. The court filing also showed that by 2016, Meek, Peevler, Williams, and others knew the real value of a substantial portion of Celadon's trucks had declined. Instead of accounting for the decline in truck values, the former executives allegedly devised a scheme to conceal millions of dollars in losses from Celadon shareholders, banks, and the investing public.
Know who didn't conceal where she's from? Shanna Taylor. She's from Akron, Ohio. She said, hello. All right, UPS driver. He died after a truck was stolen in a hijack. This is a terrible story, Chad. Break it down for us.
In Miami, Florida, the UPS driver, 27-year-old Frank Ordonez, was on his delivery route when his truck was hijacked by robbers. This led to a high-speed police chase that ended in a shootout that resulted in the deaths of 4 people.
Yeah, according to a coworker, and there's a few awful parts of the story. Here's just one of them. According to a coworker, this was his first day on the job after completing training, so it's his first route. He's out there. The details are still emerging, but from what we understand, an innocent bystander in a car at an intersection was killed as well as the 2 robbers, one of whom fell out of the passenger side of the vehicle. I guess he was shot a few times. They're not sure if he shot himself, his partner shot him, or the police shot him, but either way, he fell out of the side of the vehicle.
Details are still emerging. UPS released a statement. We are deeply saddened to learn that a UPS service provider was a victim of this senseless act of violence. We extend our condolences to the family and friends of our employees and the other innocent victims involved in this incident. We appreciate law enforcement service and will cooperate with the authorities as they continue the investigation, and Ordonez leaves behind a 1-year-old daughter.
Yeah, that you never like to hear that. Today, though, we have, in brighter news, in Manchester, United Kingdom, right? Sponsor Richard Greening from DDC FPO. Yeah. He's the global technical director at DDC. We are going to bring him up. Let's hope this works. All right, let's see. For 5 good minutes.
5, count of 5, 5 good minutes.
Hey, Richard, are you there?
Hey, Tim, how are you?
How's it going, sir? You're dialing in from or VoIPing in. I love technology from Manchester, right?
Absolutely, sir.
You are you a huge soccer fan, football fan?
Yeah, but I'm also an American football fan too. So I used to play American football when I was younger. So I kind of go the other way. I'm a Brit that also appreciates the American sports.
Well, hey, Richard, this is Chad. I'm just wondering. So is
other than him,
is the NFL gaining some traction in the UK, or is it just kind
massively? No, genuinely massively.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We were saying before we went on air that like the Jaguars games that we've seen at like Wembley and the different stadiums they've played them at have been more full than a lot of at least the poorly performing teams in the U.S. have done.
Like the San Diego, the L.A. Chargers. Yeah.
Well, it's the same owners, right? So I think Fulham Football Club is the same owners as the Jaguars.
Oh wow!
Oh, no wonder. So are a lot of Jaguar fans out there, or is it like just
Fulham fans that are Jaguar fans because of the link between the clubs, and they do a lot of discount on tickets, etc. But I think this season, and I might be wrong, I think there's at least 6 regular season games that are being held in the UK, which is really cool. And I've got friends that when I used to play it, they weren't interested in American football at all.
Wow.
And now, I'm in WhatsApp groups where they're debating the games, they're watching them on Sky Sports. It really genuinely is really starting to take off.
What position did you play?
So I was tight end, wide receiver, and then I played safety as well. So
tight ends are usually one of the smartest guys on the team. I worked with a tight end from Harvard at my last job. Very, very smart cat.
Oh, you just say that to all the tight ends.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about his background?
I do with a tight end.
Richard, you have a really interesting background too, because you have a lot of esports going on there. That's something that's just starting to emerge in the United States, but I found that really curious too. How'd you get into esports?
Research. I didn't realize you guys had done that much research.
Of course.
My background's always been in technology. So that's where I started. So I started as like an IT manager or head of IT. And then I kind of got to branch out and do some interesting things. And I did some work with a TV station over here in the UK. Where we originally went in to do sort of their tech stuff, and they happened to have a technical channel, which then became esports. So I got dragged into that stuff. But that was, I was doing that stuff 10, 15 years ago. It's come an awful long way.
Yes, it has. It is. I think you could make a living at that, and some of the kids are doing it. Well, speaking of tech, Richard, what are some of the top tech trends for transportation that you've seen in 2019?
So the first thing when you guys kind of pop me through the email, the first thing we need to break out here really is the difference between buzzwords and hype cycles and actual like real world adoption. So when it comes to the hype cycles, things like AI, machine learning, robotics, blockchain, immersive experiences are all the kind of the things that people hear again and again. They come to the conferences, they come to things like FreightWaves Live. And they get an idea for what it is, but have no idea how it will apply to them or when it will apply to them. And the trick, I guess, is really it comes down to when does it become cost effective or simple enough for people to adopt that stuff. So, those are they're still the buzzwords, they're still the hype cycles. And one of the things we had at the Bitter Symposium a few weeks ago in Chicago, we were talking about hype cycles quite heavily. And the reality is what technology does is it kind of a concept comes along like blockchain or something like that, or even immersive experiences like VR and AR. And then what happens is there's a load of buzz because everyone's interested and wants to know how it works. And then it kind of dies away, but then it comes back. But when it comes back, it's not known as blockchain and VR and AR. It's part of the actual real world application. So things like blockchain, for example, is like when that starts being adopted in the real world, people aren't going to go, "Oh, I've got a great blockchain solution."
Yeah, you wouldn't think about it, right?
We've changed our systems, and it happens to have a decentralized ledger, or it happens to do this, it happens to do that. But they're not going to be flying the blockchain flag. So if we dump the kind of buzzwords and all that stuff, and this is all stuff that's going to be on the roadmap for the next 3-5+ years that will drip feed through. Unfortunately, when it comes to logistics, and so again, it's an industry I've spent a lot. I managed to get out of, do the TV stuff, and then firmly got dragged dragged back into. It is the slightly less sexy stuff that kind of that comes back through. So the reality is, if people out there want to know what's really happening and what companies are making inroads are, it is things like app development is probably the biggest one this year. There's a lot of different reports, but I think the Gartner report says something like 78% of people or people surveyed would prefer a branded app experience over using a website, and the reasons for that is the quality of the experience itself, how smooth it is and how well it works, but also from a security aspect. People are now a lot more concerned about their information and where it is, and could it be breached, could it be leaked on the internet. And at the moment, people are still feeling like the security in an app is better than a website. So companies within logistics, I think this year, if I was to put a number one thing on it, it would probably be app development. People are now starting to see the value and finding smart ways to use apps on phones and tablets rather than the conventional websites.
Richard, what should people be hot on that's in terms of tech that's going on at DDC?
DDC. So we focus on data capture. That's what we do. So we do, again, using the buzzwords, so things like artificial intelligence, machine learning. That's what we do, and it's something we've had to adapt because DDC has been around for 30 years. And we started as a conventional outsource business where we put someone in and physically do your keying. So I guess what we've had to do in probably even the last 10 years is be smarter about the way we capture data too, to make it more cost effective for the client and ensure that the quality and efficiency is there. So all of the buzzwords I mentioned earlier is what we do. Robotics, so RPA is something that we're heavily involved in and making inroads are the machine learning part, OCR scanning, all of these things. But the thing with all of this, going back to it comes down to it's not the tech guy that really. You can put your recommendations forward. It's the CEO who decides where the business is going. So you've got to figure out what's going to make me money or what's going to save me money. And right. That's the real adoption of tech.
Well,
it's that simple.
Well, how do they reach out to you to find out more about how they can save that money, Richard?
Okay, so you can reach me on LinkedIn. So Richard Greening on LinkedIn, and go to our website, so thedcgroup.com.
Okay,
thank you very much. Yeah, have a great night and a great weekend over there in the UK, and keep enjoying American football. Yeah, I like the 9 a.m. games. I like having football on when I'm wearing my pajamas, Chad.
Go Titans!
Take it easy. Have a good one.
All right.
Yeah, that was great. That was
great.
Yeah, it was awesome joining our Richard. I don't know if you've seen his picture too. Handsome devil. Yeah, you can tell. I playing that tight end.
You say that to all the tight ends. I'm quite sure.
Hey, I'm just saying he's a dashing man.
Mikey B.
Mikey B, welcome. What's up, dude? You're back. Last time you were here, you defeated me in Market Expert Trivia, so we're not going to play any trivia today. We are going to see what's
on the radar. Presented by Sonar.
What's up, dude?
Great. Well, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, of course.
Even though you beat him.
Yeah, no, well, hey.
Don't worry, I wanted to make sure you were back on.
I didn't take it personally.
Okay, so what I want to talk about today is intermodal.
Well, great.
Do it.
So intermodal, the question being, is intermodal still a growth area in the context of trucking? Is intermodal still a threat to truckers in the long-haul lanes that railroads are taking trucks off the road because they're putting more containers on the railroad? So you sort of pull up, say, a Sonar chart and look at intermodal containers on the railroad. And even though it's been a growth area for a very long time, it's sort of flattened out, particularly the last sort of few years. And this year it's down about 4 or 5%.
Right.
So it's an interesting question. It's something I'm working on a report about, and I'll give you a couple of sort of bullet points on either side of the debate. This week, CSX CEO Jim Foote answered a question at a Wall Street conference, and the question was along the lines of, do the railroads need to start cutting rates in order to attract more business to the railroad from the highway?
Yes.
He was very dismissive. Very dismissive. He
said no.
He said no. He was very dismissive of that question.
Okay, I am going to debate with him on this because, well, I'll ask you one. How do you feel about that? Because I know that when there's a certain break-even point where it makes money to go, it makes sense to go intermodal versus to go over the road. And right now, it's not really there. That's why they're not seeing the capacity.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with you. Right now, you sort of say the data we have in Sonar, it sort of tells the tale that the truck rates and the intermodal.
Hold on one second. We are live there. Cassandra, come here really quick. Cassandra, can you cut a real quick promo for us on radio? Cassandra's going to be on Sirius XM tomorrow at 3:15 with us on channel 146. Road Dog Trucking. You are live on the air right now on What the Truck?
We're going to have a lot of fun, you guys. Listen in tomorrow because we're going to talk about a very touchy topic.
What would that be? That's a Swift thing, right? We're going to talk a lot about that in Common Section Rodeo, too.
We're going to talk about Swift and pushing drivers to put chains on their tires and drive through adverse conditions.
That is a controversial subject.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive in. And there's something bigger going on here.
Oh, wow. Okay, what would it be?
I can't tell you. You're going to find out tomorrow.
That is great.
Listen in tomorrow. You are so good at promoting stuff, too. I remember when she was on Insiders. Check out her episode on FreightWaves Insiders. But before she even went on, everyone in the comments was like, can you say this about it, or can you give us... And you're like, no, listen to the episode. It comes out tomorrow. Just listen to the episode.
So why you should do it?
Who was that one baby daddy in the comments? That guy was... What was he even talking about?
Daddy and tiny daddy.
And little daddy.
Comments.
Yeah.
You guys know. Check out the comments. They're really weird.
One was smaller than the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it made an awkward situation, too.
Yeah. Katz, you have a safe flight, but you have to hit the cowbell while you're in here.
Yes. Sorry, I know. It was very awkward.
Yay! Yeah.
Wow, come to dinner.
Keep kicking butt, you guys. Sorry to interrupt.
Thanks. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a safe flight.
Thank you.
Never know who's going to stop by.
Yeah.
Stop by the booth.
Great. Just saw her film Fuller Speed Ahead with the dog.
Oh, okay.
So it's got to be the best viewed.
Wait, Craig interviewed Ellie?
Yes, with the dog. Interviewed Cassandra with the dog in between the two. And they were discussing dogs as just co-pilots in the truck just to keep the drivers.
Oh yeah,
one of our most called in episodes of Road Dog Trucking, by the way.
Yeah,
dogs in the cab. People like it.
And somebody.
How do you feel? What about dogs in the train car in intermodals? Did Jim Foote have anything to say about?
No, I don't think that would work on a rail line. I think that would violate too many safety issues to have a dog there. And it wasn't one of the Teamsters issues on the Canadian Railway and the strike the other week.
Rob Armstrong, he said railroads just set rates at trucking rates, almost like they don't want business.
Yeah, so it doesn't make a lot of sense on the surface. I mean, historically, the intermodal rates have been 10 to 15% below the truck rates. That's sort of the trade-off. You're giving up some service by having the intermodal move in exchange for a lower level of service. The trucking now the railroads are saying, well, look at the service metrics. Our service this year has been good. The speed is up, the dwell is down. Therefore, we don't need to have rates below trucking at all. They should be the same. Now, I would say maybe for right now until there's a big snowstorm in Chicago or until there's some more traffic, which can cause some more congestion.
So that's some of this data that you are mining on Sonar right now and what you're seeing?
Yep.
Okay.
What are people using Sonar right now? They're using Sonar. What do they look at to get if they want to get a little deeper into intermodal rail data?
Yeah, so one of the most viewed series is on intermodal rates. And so we have intermodal rates on 105 origin destination pairs across the United States, and those are spot rates, which most intermodal does not move on spot rates. Most moves on contract, but it still gives you a sense for where the market is going, what it would cost today to move on some of those lanes. And so you can take a look at that and then chart it against the trucking rates on those same lanes. They put LA to Dallas right up against each other, and what those things show now is that even though that's a long haul intermodal type lane, 1,500 miles, they're right about parity. So there's really not, the rates are not encouraging a lot of freight to go intermodally.
Chad, those are your OD pairs, in case you didn't know it. OD. Some people only know the acronyms in this business, and then you're like, oh, that's origin destination. Oh, OD pairs. Most people who work with this stuff would call it OD pairs, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Just some people would.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I've been seeing on Sonar, which is interesting too, is that it's retail season, retail going up, and what's going down at the same time?
Turkey prices.
The distance of trucks. Like they're not driving as far because they're at their little hubs and they're doing their short distances.
Yeah, and that ties into intermodal. The question of intermodal as well is intermodal really compatible with the whole e-commerce trend? I mean, the e-commerce trend has created, more inventory closer to consumption centers where people actually live. Now, the Amazon, the Amazon, network it's not a low cost network. It's a high cost network. They're just trying to have that high cost type distribution, lower cost than others can provide it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's with service being more important to get things the same day, the next day, in 2 days, what have you. Intermodal, which is sort of by definition, you're giving up some of that service for a lower price. Does that make a lot of sense? I mean, I think those are sort of interesting questions, but.
They are, and you are digging deep. Everything coming back to intermodal.
They find more
with Mikey B.
How do they learn more?
So, publish every day on Sonar 5.0. Power user on LinkedIn. Mike Bowden Distil. Check me out there.
Power user.
I'm talking about power indexes. The DHL Supply Chain Pricing Power Index. We're going to talk about next.
Coming up. Thanks, Mikey B. All right, man.
Nice having you in the studio.
Okay, thanks.
Cleveland native, I believe. Big LeBron James fan. Do we have here he comes. Here's Andrew Cox.
I think he came from Chicago.
Chicago? Well, why was he wearing that fine day in Cleveland shirt? Wow, you've got an interesting shirt on today, too.
Yeah. Interesting.
It looks like a Mayan temple or something. I want to sacrifice. I want to lay you down and then sacrifice someone on top of you.
eBay's finest.
Yeah. Did you really get that on eBay?
I did. Wow. Yeah, like $7.
I like it. It's very 80s.
Yeah, it is. I think I searched vintage patterns in this.
Actually, if you put some Wayfarers on, you'd kind of look like Tom Cruise in Risky Business.
I take that as a massive compliment.
Yeah.
I love Tom Cruise.
Yes, doesn't he look like a young Tom Cruise?
Good stuff. Boys, we finally had some volatility in our DHL supply chain price and power index.
Yeah.
Coming back to the carriers.
Trending back a little more to a balance. Is it balanced yet?
Not quite.
Nope. Okay.
It's at 30, which is a major improvement over the last couple of weeks. We were sitting at 15 for a couple of weeks, about the last couple of weeks, and now we went up to 25 last week, and we're up to 30 this week.
And 0 is in favor of the shippers. 100 is in favor of the carriers. We were at 40 at the beginning, and it tumbled all the way down to 20 in favor of those shippers out there. Now it's going back a little bit of pricing power restored.
A little bit back, yeah.
Why would that be?
Reasons are, I think volumes are pretty good. It's kind of hard to compare direct year over year because of the difference in a weekly. Thanksgiving's a week later this year. But you can check out the peak. The peak right before the big drop was 3% higher this year, and then the trough was 3% less shallow. So I think that's a good sign for holiday volumes. You also had a massive Cyber Monday and Black Friday, so I think you had good growth there. So strong volumes for carriers to be moving. But you've also got rejection rates that are finally, and they're holding above this, we kind of see the 6% kind of resistance band, and it's held above that for the last couple of weeks, and now it's actually almost at 8, which is really good for the carriers. That's the highest it's been in months.
Right.
And rates are good. So our DAT rate index is above 150. It's the first time in months. I mean, we even stuck around at 125 for a while, so 150 is really good.
It's hard to compare year over year because of the moving target of Thanksgiving, but overall, it's a time where I think rejections go up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do rates tend to go up?
Yeah, they tend to in the holiday season. One, because you have shippers that are kind of stressed out and need to get their stuff on the shelves. They need to get it on so it can be bought before Christmas.
Not those baby Yodas, though.
No, I know. I saw that.
I know. If you go on Disney right now, too, the earliest you can get one is in April.
Oh, yeah.
Like a plush.
What about, did you, when you were growing up, did you get vouchers for, I remember the Star Wars original toys weren't
Dude, it was before I was born. That was in 1977.
Okay. All right. Well, I heard Jon Favreau talking about he got them when he was a kid. So I didn't know if you
I did.
No.
I did.
He did.
But I had to get him at a place called Toy World, not Toys. It was Toy World. Yeah. And in 1980, it was $5 for an action figure. Woo.
Yeah, but that's like $10 now, so they were more expensive.
25 cents a week for an allowance.
Yeah. Jeez.
That's
you sound like a real old man now, dude.
25 cents a week.
I grew up in the 80s, though. I remember, you would get, Return of the Jedi figure. That's the first Star Wars movie I remember, because I was born in 79, so I was 4 when Return of the Jedi came out. Okay. And, you get, the little figure in there, and I remember, a little coin that came with these, Ewoks, and I remember I was in the store, and my mom said, I don't have that kind of money. And when you're little, you take things literally. So I opened the Ewok and gave her the coin that came with it. And then like I got scolded very hard and grabbed by my scruff of my neck and taken out of Masters in Staten Island. Masters was the department.
So you didn't get to keep the Ewok?
I didn't, but now I get like all the things I couldn't have as a child. My parents were very good to me, but like the things I couldn't have, like AT-AT Walkers, Millennium Falcons and stuff, like my kid's room is just lit. Like it's almost
Covered
like
in them.
Kind of buy it for myself in a way, yeah. But like he's like my front man.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Well,
I feel like I just got to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, I definitely learned something about you.
What else is going on? You watching that Mandalorian?
I'm not, and it's not because I don't like Star Wars. I'm lazy. There's so many good shows on, and I can't keep up. I haven't even signed up for Disney Plus yet, so
he hasn't either. He's even got a free year, and he said he's going to expense it.
Right?
You said I should.
Well, because we talk about it on here. Like I said, it's kind of a business expense. You have Netflix, right?
We got Netflix.
Watch Broken on there. Watch that series Broken.
I need to.
That's
like the third time you've recommended it to me. I need to get on it.
What'd you guys talk about on... give us a little Great Quarter Guys preview. It's the fastest rising show on the Freightcast network. If you're a podcast fan, subscribe to Freightcast on podcast players everywhere. You get every single FreightWaves and American Shipper podcast. But if you just want Great Quarter Guys, you just like what these guys have to say, you can also just subscribe to them. Look up Great Quarter Guys. You guys did a show yesterday. Came out this morning. What was it about?
We talked about Dasky. We started doing these... I guess business segment breakdowns, and this is our second one. We did Old Dominion a couple weeks ago. We did Dasky yesterday, which is the leading flatbed provider in the U.S. So we talked about their roll-up strategy over the last few years. Why has their stock tumbled from $15 to like $3 now, and the prospects for the future. We also talked a little bit of Cybertruck. And we talked the DHL supply chain.
What did you have to say about Cybertruck?
Oh, I'm long on it. We did a long short. I was very long. Kevin said he'd rather have a 72 Chevy.
Yeah.
I said, that's nice.
It's a different buyer, though.
It's a different buyer, and they're about the same price right now. You can get you pay about $40,000.
You know who's going to buy a lot of these?
Kevin was born in 1970.
No. Dude, I don't know if you guys remember the Honda Element. The Honda Element came out in like the mid-2000s, and they really wanted to sell to 25 to 35-year-olds. But like it only ended up getting bought by like boomers as a third car. Mm-hmm. I think Cybertruck is really going to sell to those 25 to 35-year-olds. Like, they want their first Tesla. They want something different. They're really receptive to the idea of the autopilot, and I think a lot of people are going to be buying in on it.
Yeah, I think it's also another thing that I don't remember the exact percentage, but like 30 or 40% of the trucks bought in America are bought for commercial fleets.
Yeah.
So if you can win over some of those commercial fleets with long-term cost savings of this truck, I think it's going to take off.
I think
I would never buy a pickup truck, but I'll buy a Cybertruck.
I think the bulletproof windows does a lot. For instance, like a police force in Mexico
they just bought 15 trucks.
Yeah.
Vales.
And only $1,500 to put down that deposit. It's $100 each.
Pretty good.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Andrew Cox.
Andrew Cox. By the way, I don't know if you heard him on Sirius XM last week. He was my co-host, and he did an excellent job. I will certainly have him back at some point.
Fantastic. He is really rising in the ranks.
Yeah, and now here comes Detroit versus the rest. What does that say? Detroit versus the refs. What happened? When did this?
Where should I start?
Well, yeah, start at the beginning.
I thought it was the Saints that had the problem.
I don't think we have enough time to start at the beginning.
Did you know Jerome Bettis is from Detroit? If you ever watched that Super Bowl, they said it like 100,000 times.
Don't forget about that too.
Detroit versus everybody.
Just in case the refs aren't enough.
Are you a Detroit pizza fan?
I'd say I'm more of a Detroit pizza fan than a Chicago Deep.
Has Detroit ever made a Super Bowl?
No,
I don't like being attacked as soon as I get into
I was just wondering.
They did before they kept records.
Did they ever make a championship?
Fact check, 1957, I believe, was the championship.
How many Hall of Famers have retired from the Lions before their career was over? I know we got Barry Sanders,
Calvin Johnson,
Scott Mitchell.
Al, you are really making it hurt right
Dan
now.
Orslewski. Okay, who is the best 0-16 team of all time? The
1, 2, 3 Lions, go.
All right. It's time. Speaking of Lions.
Over under.
All right, guys. You ready to play a little earnings over under?
Whoa. Ready or not, here we go.
All right. Here. This is where I
love trucks, and you cannot lie.
This is where you do all your Black Friday shopping. Dollar General.
Oh, yeah.
Do they have Black Friday like shopping at Dollar?
I don't think it would make sense. It's 33 cents.
Buy one, get three free.
I bet they do.
Well, maybe they do, because $1.38 earnings per share. We'll start with you, sir.
I'm feeling bullish on that one. I'm going to go over.
All right.
Yep, me too. Over.
All right, it was $1.42. Because that one was kind of easy. We all know the dollar stores have been doing really well. It's funny, like dollar stores, are they recession-proof? Because they seem to do well in good and in bad economies.
Nothing's completely recession-proof, Dooner.
I'm going to ask, Anthony Smith and on Freightonomics, one of our also new podcasts on the Freightcast Network, Anthony Smith and Zach Strickland were arguing about if Target was recession-proof, and Anthony was a little anti-Target.
Is he?
Yeah. He was like, yeah, everyone's going to go to Walmart, and Zach was like, my wife wouldn't be caught dead in Walmart. Chad Prevost would be caught dead in Walmart. I saw him there. Dollar General's net sales rose by 8.9% to $6.99 billion in the quarter.
Wait, I didn't hear the first part. I'm sorry.
Dollar General's net sales.
Oh, okay.
Up 9%, 8.9% to $6.99 billion in the quarter. Really good, right?
Yeah.
It was above the estimate of $6.92 billion. Net income rose to $365.6 million. It's $1.42 per share. But so of that billion, that's all they bring in is $365 million. Wow. There's a lot of cost overhead when you're running the DG.
Yeah, when everything's 77 cents.
But still good. All right, here's a place you went to. You had to get that engagement ring. Did you go to Dollar General? Or did you go here? Tiffany & Co. 85 cents. Earnings per share. Chad Prevost.
85 cents.
Yeah. Tiffany & Co. Familiar? And I said, what
I'll take
about
the over.
breakfast at Tiffany's? He's going under. You went over. So you're going to get this. You're going to get this. Boom! Tiffany & Co. is under, only 65 cents. They did poor. Tiffany & Co. announced earnings for third quarter that declined from last year. The company's earnings
Tough times in the diamond mine.
They came in at $78.4 million. It was just 65 cents per share. This compares to $94.9 million in last year's third quarter. So substantial drop.
Maybe it was that Canadian diamond mine.
That shut down the ice road truckers.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could map divorce rates to the diamond, how well Tiffany's doing.
Is there a sonar index for that yet?
I think there might be. Compare it with frozen turkey prices.
All right. Well, all right, here's another one. American Outdoor Brands, 8 cents.
Is it me?
Yeah.
American Outdoor Brands, 8 cents.
Do you know their parent company for Smith & Wesson?
They are?
Yeah.
8 cents.
8 cents isn't that high.
Oh my gosh, I know. I will trending down, but I'm going to say over.
All right.
I'm going to take the under.
It was over. It was 9 cents. American Outdoor Brands reported. They had a $5.2 million profit for its most recent quarter. You guys ever do any ginseng hunting? I was watching an ID Discovery last night, and there's a guy on there, and it said he was a ginseng hunter, and he was wearing camouflage, and I was like, why do you need, just so you can sneak up on the ginseng? Don't see it coming? Chad looked it up a little bit, though. I guess, it's a dangerous game.
It takes 5 to 10 years to grow one, and they're going to be over harvested.
Longer than a Christmas tree.
And it's like they're selling for $500 to $600 a pound.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if a rogue dude met you in the woods, and you had a pound of ginseng.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like the copper pipes. Like they have people steal copper pipes from abandoned buildings in cities. In Detroit, a lot of Detroit copper.
So he's hiding from ginseng.
Ginseng is the copper pipe of the woods. Yeah, so you gotta be careful. That's why you gotta wear the camouflage.
Okay, so how many more do we have? Do I have a chance to tie, or is it just for pride now?
There's 2 left.
Hey, he's looking.
You're
looking.
No,
he's totally picking.
So you guys go. He doesn't have eyesight that's that good.
No.
He can't even see out of that eyeball.
I can't even see.
He can't see out of that eyeball. Okay, Build-A-Bear Workshop. You guys ever get one of those? Build-A-Bear. Those were a big deal a long time ago.
That's a little deal.
A while ago.
I could see Chad being a little bit more of an American Girl doll guy.
You ever take a girl on a date to a Build-A-Bear Workshop, or your kids or something?
I don't think
they used to have birthday parties. It used to be like a big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Well, what's that place? I don't want to get too off topic, but isn't there one of those? I saw you there one time, didn't I? The Pottery. It's Pottery, maybe.
Pottery.
Oh, yeah.
Or do they have bears there too?
No, the Build-A-Bear. I think that must be for children of the 80s or something.
Yeah. Like Chad's the only person you see more often in the mall than like a Santa Claus or something. You're just always running into him in public. If you guys ever want to see Chad, pretty much just hang around your local Walmart. All right, Build-A-Bear. When are you guys going to go? Oh, I didn't tell you. Negative. Did they lose 28 cents?
Oh,
over under.
Did they lose 28 cents? Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, I just have sometimes you just have a bad feeling.
Yeah.
I'm going to say under.
All right.
So when you say under, you're saying they lost less?
No, more. He's saying that they lost more than 20 cents.
Okay, I'll take the opposite of that.
Okay. You shouldn't. But you're keeping him in the game, I Build-A-Bear did really bad. Negative 40. Bleeding money. The quarterly report represents an earnings surprise well, this is a bad surprise, negative 42.8%.
Oh, wow.
Negative 42.86%.
They're trending in the wrong direction.
It was expected that the toy retailer would post a loss of 1 cent per share sorry, I don't mean to laugh at you, Bill Bear, when it actually produced a loss of 8 cents per share, delivering a surprise, negative 700%. It sounds so bad when you put it that way.
That sounds pretty bad.
But it's only like a few cents. But it sounds just terrible when you're like 700%, negative 700%.
How does the CEO say great quarter, guys, at the end of that quarter?
He's like, let's go build a bear. Build a burger. All right.
Okay. Last one.
Slack Technologies. We use it here within our company. It is like the instant message of the corporate and non-corporate
Whatever
world.
you take, I guess I'll take the opposite.
Right, you got to go first. Slack, negative 23. They lose 23 cents.
I'm going to say...
Are you peeking out of
No, yeah. I'm just keeping an eye on you.
All right.
I'm going to say they lost less than that. They're doing better than that.
Okay.
And I'll say that they lost more.
Boom! Yay! It's Brad Ganane. He's the winner! He's the winner! So what happened here is it was negative 16 cents, and here's what their CEO, Mr. Butterfield, had to say. He said, if you look back in time, 6 to 9 months ago, we underestimated the amount of confusion in the marketplace inserted by Microsoft. They're the biggest company in the world, and we are obviously preoccupied by us. Wait, wait, seeing that Microsoft's preoccupied by them, they're putting out a press release on us if we are 100th the size. Wow, he's talking. Wow, he says that. I think it shows that they view us as an existential threat. So he's just talking a lot of smack on Microsoft. Yeah.
Kind of like how Chad and I talk in the office.
Yeah, you're just smack talking.
Well, hey, congratulations on a victory a long time in the company.
I like when you took one of your few on-camera opportunities to just like throw a shout out at Chad. You were like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah. It was good stuff.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah. You're like one of the guys who runs in like behind the reporter and is like, yeah. Exactly.
Well, you know what?
Go Detroit.
Go Detroit. Detroit versus the refs. Detroit versus everyone. I love trucks. That's
what are you up to? If people want to learn more about you, they want to talk about Detroit or anything. What do you do around here these days?
What do I do around here?
You've been here a long time. So
over a year and a half.
You're here long enough. You kind of
you do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I work primarily with our sonar product.
Cool.
So that's what you can find me doing more times than not. Brad Ganane, LinkedIn, GUINANE.
Brad Ganane, one of the best earnings over under players in the world.
Insane Ganane, bringing the pain.
Have we got track? Like who won the best of 7 series?
Can you play Eminem as my walk-up song next time?
I don't know what happened to the best of 7 series, but then I won 2 in a row.
I won the first.
Spaghetti.
I won the
first,
and you won 2 in a row.
Okay.
And this is our 4th, right?
All right.
Well, those are turkeys from Atlanta. All right. See you later.
Nice job, man.
Yeah, you're all set.
Yeah,
that's it.
You
won.
Thanks,
you
guys.
won. Be proud of yourself.
We'll see if we let you come back on.
All right. Now is the opportunity where we are going to hear from the readers of FreightWaves.com. But also, if you want to leave a comment on, well, I'm monitoring LinkedIn. If you want to leave a comment on LinkedIn right now, I'll read your comment out loud if we have time. But in the meantime, let's get to the comments we've already curated from our great and wonderful site.
Comment Section Rodeo.
All right, the Old Town Road of Comment Section Rodeo. All right, this is from the article. It's Convoy closes out year of multiple breakthroughs, and Scott W. Stremmel Sr. He said, driving down waste time, combination loads to reduce deadhead miles. I get it. What a concept. What they don't think about is the wasted time in loading and unloading times. The rates don't justify in combining loads. Not in the southeast regions, and I'm sure it's the same in other regions. As a carrier, it's more profitable to break up the combined loads. Guess what I'm getting at is taking 2 or 3 loads that are combined and breaking it up for 2 or 3 rates. Just do the math.
Nice. This is from the article, Emission-Free Trucks Will Lower Driver Turnover Rates, claims Nicola CEO.
Nicola!
Mike says, who is going to repair them when they will break down on the road, and how long is it going to take to repair them when they finally will reach the shop with the mechanics who know how to repair them? Diagnostics, parts, labor, etc., etc. Yeah. My guess is for too long.
Yeah.
Shippers and receivers want their freight ASAP. It's not going to be an option to wait for a couple of months for their freight.
Hey, you got another one here. Class 8 truck orders come in November.
Sure. Okay, I'll go 2 in a row. Elvis Durant says, I think this issue is more than an Obama or Trump or Bush issue. Tabloids like FreightWaves.
Wait a minute.
Tabloids. Like FreightWaves, Overdrive, etc., only painting or sugarcoating, hiding the mess of a cesspool this trucking industry has become. FMCSA is still working with obsolete regulations from the 1930s, and they think that the stupidity of these late regulations are going to make things better. Give me a break. And I agree with you. I'm officially done with trucking as of 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Sold truck and preparing to sell flatbed and disbanding my authority. I keep telling everyone, go and get an education. Lots of trade to learn out there for cheap, and nobody has to torture themselves behind a truck steering wheel.
Well, that was like an after-school special. All right, Dr. Hoff. All right, ooh, okay. All right, so I got to put on a different hat for this one.
Dr. Hoff.
The ELD mandate is a bigger problem for new truck manufacturers and tariffs. Walmart just released a Black Friday sales report, which clearly shows U.S. sales of Chinese goods are not declining due to tariffs, so take tariffs out of the equation. However, hundreds of highly experienced truck drivers are threatening to leave the truck driving industry immediately following the 18th, 2019 deadline for installing bogus GPS devices on owner-operator trucks. Many men have already thrown in the towel and sold or threw away the keys to their trucks. These drivers are not planning to buy new trucks, as many of them once did in a 4 or 5 year basis. Barack Hussein Obama knew that GPS tracking of privately owned vehicles would bring havoc and loss to the truck driving industry, a powerful way of pushing out of capitalism, bogus logistics system and replacing it with the socialist agenda. 11 hours of driving time makes everybody equal. Or socialism at its core? Well, taking any industry which thrives on capitalism and injecting outright socialism is dangerous and will lead to collapse. Just as Obama had planned, we Americans can fight all this by demanding an elite national driver's license for U.S. citizens only and full-blown Jimmy Hoffa-style unionization for all truck drivers in America!
Wow.
That was an epic.
Your Dr. Hoff, your accent changed like 4 times.
He was just getting supercharged. I was trying to do Alex Jones, but I don't know if I captured it.
Well, that was fun.
The frogs.
This is from the article, and this was a doozy dooner. Swift confirms driver leader instructed truckers to drive in inclement weather.
Hey, Cassandra came in here and she was going to drop a pipe bomb on it. She's waiting for radio. Yeah. 3:15 tomorrow. She'll be on channel 146 Road Dog Trucking talking all about this issue.
Brian says, meanwhile, this is the problem with these wannabe drivers, moan and groan about everything and anything. I do not know how many times over my career, 31 years of safe driving that I drove in blizzards of 20 miles an hour of driving on black ice. It's common sense to just take it easy, to do your job and quit your crying because of your weather or you missed a birthday or your girlfriend. Trucking is not a 9-to-5 job unless maybe you were local.
Yeah.
There are an awful driving that should be just working at McD's.
Wow. All right. Sly. Maybe Sly Stallone. Have you seen Rambo 4 yet, by the way? Or 5? Last Blood?
No, it gets terrible ratings.
Oh, it does?
Reviews.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Sly.
Real low on the tomato meter.
Sly said, I drive a day carrier from Denver to SLC on 8070. The only time I don't move is if our CDO keeps us in a hotel until the highways are safe. But if the highways are closed while en route, we are required to rest at the nearest hotel. These idiots on here on Facebook who state that they run no matter what are morons. They are usually the guys who do not chain up properly and get stuck on 70 past Vale and get a $1,500 ticket for blocking the road. If you don't feel comfortable driving in the snow, then pull over and go on and rest. It's not worth risking your life for other people's. Plus, you'll be in the way of experienced drivers who drive in this crap every winter. We already lost 6 people in Colorado because of an inexperienced driver with no training who lost his brakes on the 70.
Don't do that.
That is a good point.
Bob Corrigan says, this shows the common, unprofessional, idiotic, arrogant, and don't give a damn attitude and behavior of most dispatchers, driver leaders, etc. 99% have never drove a truck and are totally clueless about what drivers have to endure. They specifically are ignorant of the danger and high stress level when a driver has to drive in bad weather. They sit in their little chairs in their cozy cubicles, insulated from the weather, and decide for the drivers what the drivers should be able to do.
Wow, Kenneth G. White, he's short and succinct. He goes, you all need to go and find a job at Burger King. Get one of those Impossible Whoppers while you're there.
Oh, Tim says, hell, Swift drivers need to chain up in dry conditions. The biggest hazard on the road is the driver behind the wheel of a Swift truck.
Well, you wrote Swift.
Swift truck.
Joker, he says. Then, with the last message, a Swift driver, Fred, that was held up at a truck stop due to the inclement weather, saw a snowplow coming down the street. Could it be a way to get down the road? So he pulls out of a truck stop and follows the snowplow. Fred was riding along with the orange whirlybird light on the snowplow flashing in his face, checking his watch and the speedometer. Watch, speedometer, watch, and back to the speedometer. Fred's thoughts were, 12 miles per hour? At least I'm not sitting at that damn truck stop. After what seemed like an eternity, Fred got a call in the CB. Break 19, how about that big truck following this snowplow? You got your ears on. Fred about spilled his coffee, being so anxious with cabin fever, having the chance to talk with someone. Fred grabs his mic and quickly replied, 10-4, good neighbor. You got him, go ahead. The reply Fred got in return was, yeah, man, you've been following me for 2 hours. I was want to let you know I was going over here to do the Walmart parking lot next. You gonna follow me over there too?
That is a weird story.
I know. I kind of I was waiting for maybe more of a landing.
It's written like a story, right? It's got a protagonist,
like a joke. Yeah,
and it's written in the present tense.
Yeah, and it was kind of like I just thought like there would be more of a joke at the end, and it's sort of like I don't know.
I guess
maybe
that
I
was
didn't
kind
deliver
of the
it.
end of it. He was like, "No, yeah. I'm not going to follow you to the Walmart parking lot."
I know, like even as I was like hanging out with Beta, I was like, "Oh, what happens? What happens?" It was like a pop-up book of adventure, and then all of a sudden it's like, just closed. Hey, you know what's a pop-up book of adventure? The FreightWaves TV app. And you know what? If you buy a ticket before December 18th or up to December 18th, go to FreightWaves.com, click on events to FreightWaves Live Atlanta. You know what you're going to get? An Apple TV 4K for free. Just use the code Apple TV.
That's all you got to do.
That's all you got to do, and you're going to be there anyway, right? You don't want to miss out on the Freight Tech event of the 2020s.
And check out our passport opportunity. You want to get a ticket to a show or every single
Get them
one?
all of them.
Yeah, get it, and all the continuing education opportunities that the passport, the passport studies, the research provides.
But here's what you do. Here's how you extract the real value. Here's how you squeeze the blood from the stone, Chad.
Okay.
You get that Apple TV 4K. Don't be greedy. Don't put it in your house. You know what you do? You put it in your office. You put it on that main TV that everyone in your office can see.
Yeah.
You hook it up. You download the FreightWaves TV app. If you don't have Apple TV, you can go on Roku. You can go anywhere. You can do it on your phone.
And stream us 24 hours.
Make the switch. Put on the show, and we're going to be full streaming pretty soon. But there's tons of content on there. So let's say you go to the event, right? You're like, oh, my God, that Jordan Belfort keynote, what an amazing thing. Or these amazing demos that I saw, these amazing product demos.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You can go in the app and you can watch those. You can show all your employees. You can go there. You don't have to sit there taking janky videos with your smartphone, doing it this way instead of in portrait, portrait instead of horizontal, like you're a grandmother at the zoo.
Yeah.
You're getting it right.
So
fully produced professional things. You can go and watch them and show them to your staff. You can learn so much from FreightWaves TV. Go buy your ticket. Get the app.
Wow, that was a good story, and you had a beginning, middle, and an end.
Was it better than the other guy's story?
Yeah, because you wrapped it up. You brought it all back together.
Brought it all back.
Yeah, well, this has been great. We're bringing it all back together. Here's my little cowbell.
Little cowbell. You know what else you got to do? Talk about free content. There's a buffet. We make more content than you have time. So go to Freightcast. All of the FreightWaves podcasts, all in one place. There's 12 of them now. 12 of them. They're not all just me either. There's other ones. You know what came out today? For Freight's sake, I was sitting on that conversation with John Bradford from Dynamo Ventures and our own Craig Fuller. They were having a great conversation. I just love hearing those two talk and be a fly on the wall. Well, they just rap for like 35, 40 minutes about what's hot and what's not in venture capital and investing and in freight tech. And they don't really pull any punches on that show either. They'll go all in on any technology.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, John Bradford knows his stuff.
He does, man.
He's an investor. Been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
very entertaining.
Hey, thanks to everyone who tuned in today on the live streams, and thanks for everyone who's playing this back. All of you take care and have a wonderful weekend. You can find him on Twitter at Chad Prevost. You can find me on Twitter at Timothy Dooner. That's DOONER. Thank you for tuning in to What the Truck. Beep, beep. Bang your cowbell into the weekend. Bang your cowbell for
Shout
the
out to Mikey B.
Baby Yoda toys you can't buy on the shelf.
Shout out to Bratty G for beating me finally.
Woo! I think he won that Best of 7 series. Shout out for Detroit, man. They always get it hard. They got a hard rap there. Shout out to Cassandra Gaines for coming in here and dropping some knowledge about the law. And shout out to all of you.
See ya.